Ready for another collection of spooky short stories? Excellent. Come on in. Here are 19 reasons to read Skeleton Crew. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I'm going through the works of Stephen King in chronological order and giving you 19 reasons to read each one. As well as that, I also throw in some specials occasionally. Why not check out one of my recent favourites, my complete guide to the Dark Tower. And if you like what you see, stick around and subscribe. In this video, we've reached 1985 and the release of Skeleton Crew, Stephen King's second collection of short stories. Perfect to have on hand to give yourself a scare whenever the mood takes you. As with my video on Night Shift, his other collection of short stories at this point in his career, I'm going to deviate slightly from my usual 19 reasons format. I'm going to give you 9 reasons and then count down my top 10 stories in this collection. Just for a bit of fun. Of course, they are my 10, it's not a definitive 10, but do let me know your favourites from this collection in the comments below. Okay, enough talking. Let's get into these 19 points about Skeleton Crew. So this collection contains 22 stories, 18 short stories, 2 novellas, and 2 poems. Yes, poems. And as with Night Shift, most of the stuff in this book had been previously published elsewhere, in magazines and stuff. Although both of the poems, Paranoid, A Chant and For Owen, and also Milkman No. 1, Morning Deliveries, were previously unpublished before Skeleton Crew came out. So although Skeleton Crew was published in 1985, the stories within it actually span 17 years. Starting with The Reaper's Image, which was the second story King ever sold when he was aged just 18, right up to The Ballad of the Flexible Bullet, which was finished in 1983. So there was a special edition of Skeleton Crew released later in 1985 and was limited to 1,000 copies and had illustrations by J.K. Potter. What are the chances? That special edition also contained an additional short story called The Revelations of Becca Paulson, which was later worked into his novel The Tommyknockers. So there you go. So the original title for this collection was Night Moves. Now I can kind of see what he was going for there. He'd got Night Shift, trying to keep on the night theme, but let's face it, Skeleton Crew is a much better name. Okay, so the 22 stories in this collection have spawned a bunch of adaptations, so many that I'm going to read them off a list for you. So we have The Raft is in Creepshow 2. Word Processor of the Gods later became an episode of Tales from the Dark Side. Grammar has been both a Twilight Zone episode and a really shitty movie called Mercy in 2014. The Mist was turned into a magnificent film in 2007 and a pretty fucking terrible TV series 10 years later. Survivor Type was an animated segment in the 2019 Creepshow TV series, and The Jaunt is set to become a movie at some point soon, directed by Andy Muschietti of It Chapter 1 and 2 fame. And that's before we start looking at the Dollar Baby adaptations. Impressive. Can we just take a look at the cover for the paperback? Yeah, good, isn't it? In case you didn't know, the poem For Owen was written for King's youngest son, Owen. Cute. So Skeleton Crew features a kind of epilogue, which are notes on each of the stories, where King gives a bit of a sneaky peek behind the scenes for each tale. Now, some people find this kind of stuff unnecessary and annoying. Not me though, I find it absolutely fascinating. So Skeleton Crew was one of the books featured in a publicity campaign to try and get people more invested and interested in American libraries. The campaign was a poster campaign of celebrities holding various books, and in the Skeleton Crew poster, it's Michael J. Fox holding Skeleton Crew with a creepy hand on his shoulder. The poster reads, Michael J. Fox for America's Libraries. Great Scott! Okay, time for my top 10 stories in Skeleton Crew. At 10, The Reach, the final piece in the book, and a really spooky and moving story about an old woman at the end of her life. It's excellent. At 9, The Reaper's Image, lovely stuff. Haunted Mirror, people seeing death, then dying, yeah, bring it on. Number 8, Uncle Otto's Truck. Now this story should not work. Some crapped out old truck that edges closer to you every time you look at it and gives you the spooks, and eventually maybe kills somebody. Sounds fucking stupid, right? And yet, it's a really fun read. 7, Word Processor of the Gods. A man receives a special computer from his dead nephew and realises that he can make things happen in the real world just by typing about them. It's twisted and really, really fun. At 6, The Monkey, the story that gives us the image from the front of the book, and a home run really. I mean, come on, Stephen King, the master of horror, writing about one of those fucking creepy clappy monkey things. Yeah, it's gonna work. Number 5, The Mist, the opening piece in the book, the longest piece in the book, and it's kind of King doing classic B-movie horror. A spooky mist full of weird monsters descends on a town and traps a bunch of residents in a supermarket. They can either go outside and get killed or stay inside and go slowly crazy. Yeah, it's good. So 4, just missing out on the top 3, is Survivor Type, a grisly tale about one man's bid to stay alive that even King himself says went a bit too far. Don't eat while you're reading that one. In at number 3, The Raft. It's got it all. Horny teenagers, a killer oil slick, an inescapable situation, and gore. And number 2, Mrs. Todd's Shortcut. So Mrs. Todd loves trimming some minutes and miles off her journeys, but how exactly is she slimming those trips down? Let's just say there are other worlds than these. Lastly, in at number 1, and one of my favourite King short stories from his entire career is The Jaunt. So it's the tale of this futuristic method of transportation where people are knocked out and then teleported millions of miles away. What happens if they're awake when they go through the jaunt? It's not good. There we go, a load of reasons to check out Skeleton Crew and my top 10 as well. Do let me know what you think in the comments and share your favourite stories from this excellent collection. And while you're here, why not subscribe as well so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks so much for checking this one out. I'm at Dave Musson on Instagram if you want to come and say hi or just chat a bit more about Skeleton Crew. And I really do appreciate you coming over to my channel. I will see you very soon. Up next, it is a big one.